Welcome to Business World. I'm your host Siddharth. Today, my colleague Avishek and I are talking to Mr. Gautam Singhania about the current geopolitical tensions between India and its neighbor China, and how does it affect the industry, and also how we as consumers can help our industry grow. Welcome to the show, sir. So tell us, what do you think about the current geopolitical situation between India and China, and how can India use it in its favor?
So I'm not an expert on geopolitical situations, but obviously it's unfortunate that when two neighbors who have to coexist land up in a situation like this. I'm sure the government is well equipped to deal with the situation, but I think things like this put strains on relationships. And whilst the government can deal with the geopolitical part of it, I think from a trade point of view, this is not good for either country. And, the faster these things are resolved, I'm sure there are enough countries in the world who want to fire a gun off India's shoulder. And you've seen a lot of countries supporting India, but they're also doing it for their own vested interests. We need to get wise to that. I think in today's environment, where we've got COVID and we've got economic issues, etc., we don't want another issue, because that will only set us back. Not only us, it will set them back, it will set everybody back.
Sir, now boycott China and make in India are two sides of the same coin. So if we actually stop our imports from China and we don't do anything about it in India, we are losing the battle. So make in India or develop or being self-reliant, how fast can we do this? What is your thoughts on this?
So I've always been a big supporter of Make in India, and the Raymond Group has always made investments within India. And I should say this with all transparency, that as a group, you have the option to invest anywhere in the world, including China. So when we make an investment decision in India, whilst we are proud to make an investment within India, it is after evaluating China that we still find it more cost competitive and better to make in India. So that's the first point. I think in the current scenario, and I've said it in several interviews, I think let's promote the concept of be Indian and buy Indian. Every country has its problem. If you see, every country is closing its border and wants to be thinking internal. And whilst we are not allowing tourism and travel and nothing, I think India has 1.3 billion people. And if each one helps one, each one spends $1, we can spend a lot of money. And we can ourselves kickstart our economy, because we are in a favorable position where we can do the manufacturing and we have the consumption base. A lot of countries don't have the consumption base. If you see in the UK yesterday, they said that please go and eat out in a restaurant and support a restaurant. Now, they're supporting their own economy. I have said earlier that, and I had said this a month ago, that the minute you see these borders opening up, you're going to find a lot of Indian people landing up in Goa. And if you actually see the papers today, there's been a massive influx of tourism within Goa, with the hotels opening up. So this pent-up demand is there. And I think every tourist that goes to Goa will get a tourist taxi, will get F&B, will get a hotel, accommodation, provide employment. And this is what will kickstart the wheels of the economy.
So now, tell us, how is the textile industry affected by Chinese imports and substandard goods from China, cheap goods, counterfeit goods?
What was coming from China? I think a lot of cheap products were coming from that. And let me talk to you about the textile industry. Apart from cheap products, substandard products that did come from China, there was a massive amount of wrong declaration that's happening in goods coming from China. So they would write international brand names on the fabric and just export it to India. They would write international brand names on fabrics and just export it to India. They would say this is cashmere, where it was polyester. And we have not been able to stop this. Now, this is ethically wrong. This is dumping. And this needs to be stopped. And I think we have to understand that in India, I would rather pay 2%, 5% more for a product, but support my own country than worry about imports. I'm saying even if we stopped imports of every product, unless it is essential, for the next 1 year, I think India will come out stronger, not weaker. If we don't export and we don't import, I'm not again the most competent person for it, but it's a gut feel for me. What will happen if we don't? And therefore, if we be Indian and buy Indian, I think we can come out of this hole that we are in terms of the economic situation much faster than any other country can come out, primarily because we have such a large consumption base. For example, if you say Goa, if it doesn't get 100,000 tourists from abroad, it can easily get 1 million tourists from within India. So we have to open up, we have to get the economy started. I am empathetic and sympathetic towards the COVID issue, but I think the economic disaster and economic fallout of this is going to be far higher than we can imagine.
So the government recently came with Atmanirbhar policy, which is also known as Make in India 2.0. So what are the takeaways of this policy? Are the steps in the right direction, and is it going to revive and resuscitate the whole economy? If yes, you share your thoughts. If you think not much has been done, so what more needs to be done?
You see, Make in India on a generic level is important. Having said that, I don't think anybody is making capital expenditure today. In this environment, people are not making capex. I think the lag and the cycle will take time because finance is not available. And whatever finance is there, see, if you see Q1 of 2020 is a total washout because of the lockdown. Because of the lockdown, there has been no business. So everybody is in a issue. I think what we have to do is we have to improve our ease of doing business. And I always look at a problem in two ways. When there's a problem, do I need to sort out my immediate problem, or do I need to sort out a long-term issue? Now, I think even we have manufacturing today, we are making India today, we have several industries that are in stress today. So if we are able to resolve the issues of these industries per se and make them even 10% or 15% more efficient, it will do a lot more than making fresh investments today. And there is stress. How do we deal with it?
Sir, a lot of international companies which have their manufacturing bases in China, they are trying to move out because of the current supply chain issues faced during the COVID situation. And India is among the first options for them. But at the same time, countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, these countries are also coming up in the list. How do you think we as Indians, as the government, as the industry, can bring these big multinationals to India to set up manufacturing?
Eventually, it's about the policies you set. And when you're sitting in London, when you're sitting in New York, when you're sitting in any of Germany, in Frankfurt, the world is your oyster. You look where I get the best return, which is the ease of doing business. And as a businessman, you'll do a scorecard and say, it's easier to do business in Indonesia. And the government really needs to see, are they getting enough of the pie that's coming out of China? So this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity that China is collapsing, and how much of that pie can we get? And you do your own scorecard. Have I got 2%, 5% or 50%? Now, why should you not get 90% if you have such a big thrust on Made in India? Let me give you this answer in a little funny way, where I was talking to some friends of mine in the aviation business. And they said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Jet Airways has unfortunately collapsed. They were vultures. Whatever is of Jet Airways we get, whether it's landing rights, parking slots, whatever. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So what is a calamity for somebody is an opportunity for somebody else. And what is China's loss should become India's gain.
China is known as the factory hub of the whole world. I mean, all the global players are running their facilities there. So, how can the manufacturing ecosystem get a kickstart? Do we need dedicated special economic zones like what we have in Shenzhen and other places? Or do we need export-centric incentives? Or we need some subs from the government? What is it that India can be the next
E-
China when it comes to manufacturing?
Ease of doing business has many criteria in it. If you look at the scorecard of doing ease of doing business, it's not only one item that will make somebody invest. And really, the word ease is the key operating word. And that ease translates across everything you have to do, whether it is getting a permission, whether it is dealing with the labor, whether there is infrastructure, whether I will be able to get a ship to export on time, whether there's a domestic market. There are so many aspects that go into ease of doing business. And they have seen and they have decided that China is easier to do business. That's why the investment went there.
So do you think, although the current sentiment is very anti-China, but do you think the consumers will actually shell out more money to get into, to buy Indian?
I think that's not the answer. The answer is we should understand why is it much more expensive in India. If China can make it at X cost, why can't I make it at X cost? And if the government is subsidizing the Chinese product, then that is an unfair trade practice. Break the item up item by item and understand where is the difference in cost. I'm sure if you say pay 5 or 10% more for an Indian product, a consumer might understand. And if you say pay 50% more, he will not understand. But then you have to say, okay, certain items may take me a little longer, but within 1 year I need to come at cost parity.
So now I want to know your views on the companies which are based out of China but have invested in India. They have manufacturing setups in India. They are also employing people in India. So now if we boycott these companies, then we lose on the employment, we lose on the investment. What are your thoughts on these?
This is a real tough call. It's a Hobson's choice. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. And I'm the best person to answer that question. But whoever has to take a call on that has my full sympathy, because it's not an easy choice.
COVID has been a big time disruptor for multiple industries, right? So, how are you now reinventing your business going forward?
See, you have to do what you have to do, and the situation is very dynamic. And it's a mixture of everything you have said. So, whilst it's a dynamic situation, you have to evolve. I don't think personally work from home will go on for the rest of your life, because when you go to work, there's the personal interaction. How much am I going to talk to a flat television screen? How much am I going to talk to an iPad? We need social skills. Are we all losing our social skills? Are we that scared? So COVID is there today. I think it is going to pass. It's not going to be there for the rest of your life. On a lighter comment, everybody wants to get out of the house. In Bombay, the homes are not very large, and if you've got 3, 4, 5 people, people are getting into people's hair. So people are dying to get back to normal life, and like they say, this too shall pass.
Sir, what according to you is the road to recovery for the economy and the industry, and how do we exploit these new opportunities that we have?
I said in very one line here. I mean, you got to be Indian and buy Indian. And if you can actually think inward for 1 year, I know WTO, etc. will be issues, but the consumer rejects international products. And just, if you want to have a aerated water, don't have an aerated water, probably have a nimble one. If you want to travel 4 trips a year on vacation with your family, maybe take 1 abroad, take 3 within India. Small things. If you actually go through everything you consume everything is replaceable with an Indian product. And Indian products are very good because India is exporter to the world. After China, India is a very large exporter. So you're not making substandard products. So be Indian, buy Indian. And I'm sure that with that kind of mindset, we'll come out of this.
Great, sir. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much.